The silver ship carrying Earth's first diplomatic team glided smoothly into the massive docking bay of the Galactic Council station. Dr. Park took a deep breath as she looked through the viewport at the strange alien vessels surrounding them. After years of training and preparation, humanity was finally taking its place among the stars. "Nervous?" asked Captain Kim, his weathered face showing a calm that Dr. Park envied. "A little," she admitted, adjusting the translator device on her wrist. As Earth's top expert in alien communication, she had studied the universal translation matrix for years, but theory was different from practice. The ship settled onto the landing pad with a gentle thud. 6 humans prepared to exit. Captain Kim, Dr. Park, Security Officer Song, Medical Officer Choi, Engineer June, and Political Advisor Moon. They represented the best Earth had to offer. As the airlock hissed open, they faced their welcoming committee. 5 different alien species stood before them, each more strange than the last. One had blue skin and 4 arms. Another floated above the ground on what looked like a personal gravity device. A third resembled a tall insect with compound eyes that reflected the humans like mirrors. Dr. Park activated her translator and stepped forward. "Greetings from Earth. We come in peace and friendship." The blue alien bowed slightly. "Welcome to the Galactic Council Station. I am Ambassador Tay of the Lumen people. We are pleased to finally meet humans in person." The words came through Dr. Park's device perfectly, translated into clear English. She smiled with relief. The technology worked. Captain Kim stepped forward. "Thank you for your welcome. We are honored to be here." The alien delegation led them through corridors filled with strange sights and sounds. Beings of all shapes and sizes moved around them. The air smelled of unfamiliar spices, and the gravity felt slightly lighter than Earth's. "The council chamber awaits," said Tay. "Many species are eager to meet the newcomers." The main chamber was enormous, with hundreds of seats arranged in a circle. Representatives from over 50 worlds turned to stare as the humans entered. Dr. Park felt her heart race. This was a historic moment. "Representatives of Earth," announced a tall, thin alien with silver skin. "We welcome you to the Galactic Council, where all spacefaring civilizations gather in peace. I am Head Counselor 1. Captain Kim bowed. "We thank you for this welcome, and hope to become valuable members of the galactic community." The meeting started well. The humans were shown to their seats and formal introductions began. Dr. Park marveled at how smoothly the translators worked, converting complex alien languages into understandable English. But 3 hours into the meeting, tensions rose. A red-skinned alien with sharp teeth stood up. "These humans come from a world known for conflict," he said, voice harsh even through the translator. "Before they join our council, they must surrender control of their outer colonies as a show of good faith." Captain Kim frowned. "That is completely unacceptable." The red alien continued. "Your species has a history of violence. The colonies must be placed under council control." The other representatives began talking all at once. Some supported the humans. Others sided with the red alien. The noise grew louder. Captain Kim stood up, face red with anger. He slammed his hand on the table. "With all respect to the council, absolutely fuck that suggestion," he said firmly. Suddenly, all sound stopped. Every alien in the room stared at the humans. Their translation devices made strange beeping noises. Some aliens tilted their heads in confusion. Others looked at their devices and shook them. Dr. Park realized something was wrong. The translation had failed. "What was that word?" asked Tay, leaning closer. "Our systems could not translate it." Dr. Park blinked in surprise. "Which word?" "The emphasis word the captain used," said Tay. "It registered as an unknown concept." The red alien spoke up. "My translator showed an error too." Around the room, aliens were discussing the strange event. Some looked worried, others curious. Their universal translation technology, perfected over thousands of years, had encountered a human word it could not process. Captain Kim looked at Dr. Park with confusion. "What did I say wrong?" "I think," she whispered, You just discovered something very interesting about alien translation systems. Head Counselor Juan approached the humans. This is most unusual. In my 500 years, I have never seen a translation failure of this nature. Several alien scientists rushed forward, scanning the humans with small devices. They seemed excited rather than angry. Your word carries emotional content our systems cannot process, one explained. This is unprecedented. As Dr. Park tried to explain the complex nature of the word to the curious aliens, she realized that humanity had accidentally discovered something important, a unique aspect of human language that no alien technology could understand. This simple word might just change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. The news of the untranslatable human word spread quickly through the massive Galactic Council station. Aliens of all shapes and sizes whispered about it in corridors and gathering halls. The humans had become instant celebrities. Dr. Park sat in a large laboratory surrounded by alien scientists. Screens and strange devices covered the walls. The head alien researcher, Tay, adjusted his four-armed lab coat and leaned forward with all six of his eyes blinking in excitement. "Please say the word again," he asked Captain Kim, who sat with sensors attached to his head. Captain Kim sighed. "Fuck." The machines around them beeped and flashed. Alien scientists rushed to check readings. Tay studied a brain scan that appeared on the main screen. "Fascinating," he said. "Your neural patterns change each time you say it. The emotional centers light up differently depending on your tone." Dr. Park nodded. "That's because the word can mean many different things. It depends on how you use it." Another scientist named Juan floated closer on his gravity disk. "But how can one word be so many things? Our language database shows it can be a verb, noun, adjective, and more. This breaks all known linguistic rules. Try using it in different ways," Dr. Park suggested to Captain Kim. Captain Kim cleared his throat. "Well, you can say, 'I don't give a fuck' when you don't care about something." The machines recorded new patterns, or "that's fucking amazing" when something is very impressive, more beeps and different readings, or just "fuck" when you're really angry or hurt yourself. The emotional spike on the screens was dramatic. The alien scientists watched in wonder. One of them, a small purple being named Sue, tapped notes into a floating device. "We have studied over 50,000 languages across the galaxy," Sue said. "No other species has a word with this much flexibility and emotional range." Over the next few days, more tests were conducted. The entire human delegation was brought in to demonstrate the word in different contexts. Security Officer Song used it to express anger. Engineer June showed how it could indicate surprise. Medical Officer Choi demonstrated how it could even show happiness when combined with the right words. Tay called a special meeting to present their findings to the Galactic Council. The chamber was packed with curious representatives from hundreds of worlds. "The human word appears to carry emotional information that our translation systems cannot process," he explained, showing brain scans on the large screens. "It activates multiple regions of the human brain simultaneously, creating unique patterns for each usage." Dr. Park was asked to speak. She stood nervously before the assembled aliens. "In human language, this word is special because it connects to our emotions directly. It's more than just a word, it's a release valve for feelings. Every human understands its many meanings based on context, tone, and facial expressions." The head counselor, One, looked impressed. "Can you teach our translators to understand it?" Dr. Park shook her head. "That's the problem. The word doesn't just have a simple meaning you can program. It carries cultural history, emotional context, and social understanding. It's not just what the word means, it's what we feel when we use it." This caused a stir in the chamber. Aliens discussed among themselves, some looking worried, others fascinated. A scientist named Min projected a technical diagram. "We believe the word somehow bypasses normal language processing. It's almost like an emotional shortcut in human communication." The red-skinned alien who had argued with Captain Kim during the first meeting stood up. "This proves humans are too different. Their language contains elements we cannot understand. How can we trust what they say?" Captain Kim stepped forward. Or perhaps it proves that human communication has depths your systems haven't experienced before. Maybe instead of fearing what you don't understand, you should be curious about it. The chamber grew quiet. Then, slowly, Head Counselor 1 nodded. Captain Kim is right. In our 10,000 years of galactic exploration, we have never encountered a linguistic anomaly like this. Rather than seeing it as a problem, we should see it as an opportunity to learn. He turned to Dr. Park. Would you be willing to work with our linguists to explore this phenomenon further? Dr. Park smiled. Of course, I believe there's much we can learn from each other. As the meeting ended, alien scientists gathered around the humans, eager to learn more. Dr. Park realized that a simple word, one considered impolite on Earth, had become humanity's most interesting feature to the galactic community. Who would have thought, whispered Engineer June as they left the chamber, that our ability to swear would be what makes us special in the universe? Dr. Park laughed. Sometimes the most human things about us are what make us truly unique. Time. To check if citations are needed. If you need to cite from search results, wrap claims with tags including the index of supporting sentences. Do not cite your own knowledge, only cite web search results when you use them. 3 months after first contact, the human delegation found themselves in a challenging situation. They sat across from the Vorn, a tall, gray-skinned species known throughout the galaxy for their difficult negotiations. The meeting room was cold and dimly lit, just as the Vorn preferred it. Captain Kim rubbed his tired eyes. The talks had gone on for 7 hours with no progress. The Vorn wanted exclusive mining rights to an asteroid belt near Earth, offering very little in return. As we have explained 6 times already, said the lead Vorn negotiator, his voice flat and monotonous, our terms are most generous. You would be wise to accept them without further delay. Dr. Park watched as Captain Kim's patience visibly thinned. She had seen this tactic before. The Vorn were famous for wearing down opponents through endless repetition and small delays. Political advisor Moon leaned close to whisper in Captain Kim's ear. They're using their standard approach. They'll keep us here until we're too exhausted to think clearly. Security Officer Song, sitting at the end of the table, passed a note to Captain Kim. It contained a suggestion that made the captain smile slightly. Captain Kim straightened in his chair and addressed the Vorn delegation directly. Let me be absolutely fucking clear about Earth's position on this matter. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The Vorn translators emitted strange buzzing sounds. The 4 Vorn representatives looked at each other in confusion. Their gray skin seemed to pale even further. There appears to be a translation error, said the lead Vorn, tapping his device. Could you repeat your statement? Dr. Park hid her smile behind her hand. Word about the untranslatable human word had spread throughout the galaxy, but many species had not experienced it firsthand. Of course, said Captain Kim with exaggerated politeness. I said, your proposal is completely fucking unacceptable to Earth. Again, the translation failed. The Vorn looked increasingly uncomfortable. Their usual calm demeanor cracked as they whispered urgently among themselves. Taking advantage of the confusion, Political Advisor Moon quickly presented a counter-proposal. While we consider your terms, perhaps you would consider this alternative. Agreement? The Vorn, still distracted by the translation issue, barely glanced at the document before agreeing to review it. We will take a short recess to discuss this, announced the lead Vorn, clearly eager to consult with their technical team about the translation problem. When they left the room, the human delegation broke into quiet laughter. I can't believe that worked, said Engineer June. They completely lost their focus. The Galactic Council told me the Vorn pride themselves on always understanding their opponents, Dr. Park explained. The translation failure makes them feel vulnerable. An hour later, the Vorn returned with a technical specialist who eyed the humans with great interest. The negotiations resumed, but something had changed. The Vorn were no longer dragging out the process. They seemed eager to conclude the talks. By the end of the day, Earth had secured a much better deal, shared mining rights and fair compensation for resources. As they left the meeting room, Lieutenant Moon caught up with Captain Kim. That was brilliant. Did you plan that strategy from the beginning? Captain Kim smiled. Sometimes the best diplomatic tool is unpredictability. News of the successful negotiation spread quickly. Over the next few weeks, other human diplomats reported similar experiences. The untranslatable word had become a secret weapon in difficult talks. Some alien species became noticeably more careful in their dealings with humans, never knowing when their translation systems might fail. In the Galactic Council lounge, Dr. Park overheard two alien diplomats discussing humans. They say the humans have over 50 variations of the untranslatable word, whispered one. I heard their language contains many such words, all carrying emotional content our systems cannot process, replied the other. Dr. Park smiled to herself. The rumors weren't true, but they were certainly helpful. Back on the human ship, Captain Kim held a meeting with his team. The Galactic Council has invited us to join 3 more important negotiations next month, he announced. Apparently, several species have specifically requested human presence. They're afraid of missing something if their translators fail, explained Dr. Park. We've become valuable simply because of a communication barrier. Security Officer Song laughed. So our most impolite word has become our greatest diplomatic asset? Captain Kim nodded. It seems the universe has a sense of humor after all. As they prepared for their next mission, Dr. Park realized that humanity had gained something unexpected in space. Respect, not despite their differences, but because of them. In a galaxy where most species communicated with perfect clarity, humans had the unique ability to be deliberately misunderstood, and sometimes that was exactly what diplomacy needed. 1 year after first contact, the Grand Hall of the Galactic Science Academy buzzed with excitement. Beings from 200 worlds had gathered for the most anticipated announcement in recent galactic history. Dr. Park stood nervously at the edge of the stage. Behind her, a massive display showed the emblem of the newly formed Human Language Research Initiative. Captain Kim gave her a reassuring nod from the front row. Tay, now promoted to Chief Linguistic Researcher of the Council, stepped up to the floating platform in the center of the hall. The crowd grew quiet. Esteemed colleagues, he began, his forearms gesturing gracefully. Today we announce the greatest linguistic challenge ever undertaken in our collective history. He paused dramatically. The complete translation and understanding of the human untranslatable. The crowd erupted in murmurs and clicks. Some aliens recorded the event on strange devices. Others leaned forward in anticipation. For one standard, Galactic Year, we invite all species to participate in this scientific pursuit. Tay continued. The goal is not merely to translate a word, but to understand the unique properties that make it resist our most advanced technologies. Dr. Park stepped forward to explain the rules. Each research team will receive data on human brain patterns when using the word in different contexts. You will have access to human cultural databases, historical records, and linguistic experts. Your goal is to create a system that can fully translate the word in all its forms and meanings. The announcement caused a sensation across the galaxy. Research teams from dozens of worlds committed resources to the challenge. Some species sent their brightest minds to Earth to study humans directly. Others built complex computer systems, dedicated solely to analyzing the untranslatable word. Dr. Park found herself suddenly in high demand. She traveled to 8 different worlds, explaining human language concepts to fascinated alien researchers. On the water world of Aquos, she sat in a bubble-shaped room as tentacled linguists recorded her every word. On the desert planet Doros, scientists in cooling suits asked her to explain the difference between "fuck you" said in anger versus said in jest. 6 months into the challenge, Dr. Park met with Han, a brilliant researcher who had made interesting progress. Unlike other scientists who focused on directly translating the word, Han studied the emotional states it triggered. I believe we approached this wrong, Han explained, his long fingers manipulating a 3D model of human brainwaves. The word itself is not special. What matters is how it connects emotion, meaning, and context in the human mind. Dr. Park nodded encouragingly. That's an interesting perspective. How would you translate it then? Not with words, said Han. With feelings. If we can make aliens feel what humans feel when using the word, perhaps that is better than translation. As the challenge continued, the research revealed unexpected insights about human communication. Scientists discovered that many human words carried emotional layers that alien languages lacked. The untranslatable word was simply the most extreme. Example: Captain Kim, who had been following the research with interest, found Dr. Park late one night in the research center on the Galactic Council station. "How's it going?" he asked, placing a cup of coffee next to her workstation. Dr. Park sighed. "It's amazing. They've learned so much about human language, but they're still no closer to a true translation. The word seems to resist every approach." "Maybe that's the point," Captain Kim suggested. "Maybe some things aren't meant to be directly translated." 9 months into the challenge, teams began presenting their solutions. Most failed completely. Some managed partial translations for specific contexts. A few created interesting approximations. Han's team took a different approach. They built a device that bypassed language entirely, creating emotional resonance patterns that matched human brain states. When I say the word in anger, Dr. Park demonstrated for a panel of judges, Han's device doesn't translate it into alien words. Instead, it creates the feeling of anger, frustration, and emphasis in the alien brain. The judges wearing the devices looked surprised as they felt the emotional impact directly. As the challenge neared its end, something unexpected happened. Aliens began approaching humans differently. They studied human expressions more carefully. They paid attention to tone and context, not just words. "They're learning to understand us beyond just language," Dr. Park told Captain Kim. "They're learning to feel what we feel." At the closing ceremony of the challenge, Head Counselor 1 made a surprising announcement. While no team has fully solved the translation problem, this challenge has accomplished something far more valuable. It has taught us that true communication goes beyond words. It includes emotions, context, and shared understanding. Dr. Park smiled as she watched aliens and humans mingling after the ceremony, attempting to understand each other in new ways. A simple word that couldn't be translated had somehow brought the galaxy closer together. Captain Kim joined her, looking pleased. "Who would have thought our most problematic word would become our greatest contribution to galactic science?" "Language is strange that way," Dr. Park replied. "Sometimes the things that divide us can ultimately connect us." 3 years after the Galactic Challenge began, thousands gathered at the Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Council. The massive space buzzed with excitement. Representatives from over 500 worlds waited for the presentation to begin. Dr. Park stood backstage, her heart racing. Beside her, Tay and Han made final adjustments to a small device that represented years of work. Captain Kim approached, now wearing the formal uniform of Earth's ambassador to the Council. "Nervous?" he asked with a smile. "Terrified," Dr. Park admitted. "What if it doesn't work for everyone?" Captain Kim placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "After 3 years of work, I think you've earned the right to be confident." A soft chime indicated it was time. They walked onto the stage to thunderous applause from the assembled aliens. Head Counselor 1 greeted them warmly. "Today marks a historic moment in galactic communication," Juan announced to the crowd. "For 3 years, our brightest minds have worked to solve what seemed impossible, truly understanding the untranslatable human word. Now Team Earth is ready to present their solution." Dr. Park stepped forward to the speaking platform. She had practiced this speech countless times, yet still felt the weight of the moment. "When we began this journey, we thought we were trying to translate a word," she began. "We were wrong. What we discovered is that true communication goes beyond simple translation. It requires genuine understanding." She gestured to Han, who activated a display showing brain scans of various species. "We found that all intelligent beings share certain emotional patterns, even across completely different biologies. Anger, joy, emphasis, surprise, these feelings exist everywhere, though they may be expressed differently." Tay stepped forward, holding the small device they had created. "We call this the emotional resonance transmitter," Dr. Park explained. "Instead of trying to translate the untranslatable word into your languages, It allows you to feel the emotional intent behind it. Volunteers from 12 different species came forward to demonstrate. Each placed the small device behind their ear or whatever equivalent they had. Dr. Park nodded to Captain Kim. Captain Kim cleared his throat and spoke clearly. That was absolutely fucking amazing. The volunteers reacted immediately. Their faces or equivalent features showed recognition. Some gasped. Others made sounds of understanding. Though no translation appeared on their devices, they had understood the emotion perfectly. What did you feel? Dr. Park asked a tall, blue-skinned volunteer. Strong emphasis, positive impression, slight surprise, the alien replied. The feeling matched the context of the statement perfectly. One by one, the volunteers confirmed similar experiences. Each had felt the emotional meaning, even though the word itself remained untranslated. Head Counselor 1 tried the device. Next. When Captain Kim demonstrated the word in anger, Juan's eyes widened with understanding. Remarkable, he said. It bypasses language entirely. Dr. Park explained further. The device doesn't translate. Instead, it creates the same emotional state in your mind that humans experience when using or hearing the word. This works because emotions are universal, even if our words are not. The implications spread quickly through the assembly. This technology could revolutionize communication between all species, not just with humans. We propose to adapt this technology for all galactic translation systems, Tay announced. Rather than forcing exact translations where none exist, we can ensure emotional understanding across species. The vote was unanimous. The Galactic Council would implement the new approach throughout known space. After the ceremony, aliens lined up to congratulate the team. Many were eager to try the device themselves, experiencing the full range of human expression for the first time. Late that evening, Dr. Park and Captain Kim stood at the observation deck of the station, looking out at the stars. Did you ever imagine, Captain Kim asked, that a single untranslatable word would change galactic communication forever? Dr. Park shook her head. Never. But it makes sense. The word was never just about its meaning. It was about how it made people feel. The next day, the Galactic Council bestowed a rare honor upon humanity. Earth was designated as Emotional Communicators of the Highest Order, a title given to only 3 other species in the Council's long history. As Dr. Park prepared to return to Earth, she received a message from Han. The scientist had been studying other human expressions that carried similar emotional complexity. It seems your language contains many such gems, Han wrote. Words that mean nothing and everything at the same time. Perhaps this is why humans have survived and thrived despite your short history. You understand that communication is as much about feeling as it is about meaning. Dr. Park smiled as she packed her things. A simple word that many on Earth considered inappropriate had opened the door to deeper understanding across the galaxy. Sometimes, she thought, the most human things about us are what make us most universal. As humanity's ships traveled back to Earth, news of their achievements spread across the stars, carried by a technology built to understand a word that could not be translated but could now be felt by every being in the galaxy.